Hello and welcome to Solving Simple Rational Equations. In this video, we're going to do walkthroughs of some of the more difficult problems from the quiz you just had. So let's get started with the first problem here on your worksheet. We have 1 divided by r equals r minus 6, all divided by 5r, plus 4, all divided by 5r. So my common denominator here, my factor here is just r. My factors here are 5 and r, and my factors here are also 5 and r. So my common denominator is 5r, and I am going to multiply both sides of this equation by 5r. Now when I do this, I have to multiply this by each of the things in this parentheses. So don't forget that. Here, my r is going to cancel with, let me change colors, with this r, and that's going to leave me with 5. This 5r is going to entirely cancel here, and this 5r is also going to entirely cancel here. So I end up with 5 equals r minus 6 plus 4. I put those parentheses in here. They don't matter to this problem, but sometimes they do, so it's good practice to keep the top of one of your fractions all together in parentheses so you don't get in trouble when it's being subtracted. I'm going to collect up my like terms here and simplify. So I have 5 equals r. I have minus 6 plus 4 is minus 2. Add 2 to both sides, and I have 7 equals r. So by my reflexive property, r is equal to 7, and I have solved this problem. Let's go on to the next problem from your quiz on your worksheet. All right, here we are at the next problem. Remember that I could write any whole number, constant or variable, as a fraction over 1. So my common denominator here, I have a factor of 1, and a factor of n here, and a factor of n here. So I'm going to multiply this whole equation through by n, my lowest common denominator. So remember, I have to distribute this n to both things on this side of my equation. I get n plus, this n is going to cancel here, 6 equals, this n is going to cancel here, 1. Well, it's a pretty easy linear equation. I can subtract 6 from both sides, and I will get n is equal to negative 5. All right, on to problem 3. All of these have a common a squared, and since 6 factors 2, 3, and 2, they all have a common 3 as well. But I also need to include this 2. So 2 times 3 times a squared is 6a squared, and that makes 6a squared my lowest common denominator. So again, I'm going to multiply everything by that lowest common denominator. And I'm going to be sure to distribute where I have more than one term. So if I start looking at my canceling, this 6a squared cancels with this 6a squared, and I just get a minus 3 over here. Now, this 3a squared cancels only with part of this. It leaves behind a 2, and the same is true here. So I have 2 times a minus 6, because I still have this factor of 2 that needs to distribute, plus 2 times 2. Now I can just do my further distribution here, and now I need to clean all up. So 2 times a is 2a, 2 times negative 6 is minus 12, plus 2 times 2 is 4. Let's collect up all these like terms. Minus 12 plus 4 is going to be minus 8. And I'm going to subtract a from either side. So I'll have minus 3 is equal to a minus 8. Here's where we are. So now I want to add 8 to both sides, and I'm going to get my 5 is equal to A, and there's my answer. Or, if you like, I can use the reflexive property and write A equals 5. That's problem 3. Let's go on to problem 4. All right, last problem. We have 6p here. We have 3p here, which would be included in this factor because 3 times 2 is 6. So far 6p is our lowest common denominator, but over here I have 6p squared, so I need one more factor of p. 6p squared then is our lowest common denominator, and we're going to multiply everything by 6p squared. So over here, we'll cancel the p, one of the p's in the 6, and we're going to end up with p equals. Over here, for the first one, we cancel only part of this. We leave behind a 2 by canceling the 3. We cancel the p and one of those, so we have 2 and p left. So 2p plus, grab another color. For our final one, we will cancel the 6p square to the 6p square, so plus 1. All right, so let's see which side I want to end up on. Subtract 1 from both sides and subtract p from both sides. That is going to give me minus 1 over here. The p's have gone away. 2p minus p is p, and this cancels. So by the reflexive property, p equals -1, and we're done. Now turn over your worksheet and do your side. Thank you. Have a great day.